G'day everybody, where's Wally here. Hey, I just saw that Brian had made his 4th, possibly 5th video on the subject of shadows at Union Glacier. I know, right? Well, I really didn't need to make a response video to Brian, as all the facts are laid out and easy to find. But it filled me with pure joy and satisfaction just to take Brian by the scruff of the neck and hold his face to the data and repeat, "Do you see? Do you see yet, Brian?" I know he won't. I know Brian is hurting really bad about the final experiment and just how beautifully it has added another 5 or 6 24-hour sun videos. Isn't that just great? So let's listen to Brian's pain as he struggles to yet again fail to look at the drone footage that shows perfectly why the Rossman Shadow can't be seen in the time lapses from the halfway house location.
There's a shadow that's not shown in any part of the time-lapse footage within any of the TFE stuff. There's particular shadow from the mountain that's not shown.
Yes, it does show when you're able to see it, that is.
I've heard every kind of excuse as to why it's not there. And I had this guy called Petey make a video trying to show me how the people just can't see it and why they can't see it.
No, Petey did an excellent job to show your fails, Brian. So many of them. So if you want to lose some brain cells, like Petey and I have, then go and watch Petey's video as he destroys Brian yet again. The link is in the description as always.
But he had to use deception within his video. So, I mean, I'm okay if there's a good reason why you can't see the shadow. But I can't take nonsense and I can't take deception.
By deception you mean, Brian, that you saw Petey use degrees and minutes and you thought it was degrees and decimals of degree. You call that deception? Oh, we doth chuckle at your shenanigans, Brian.
You know, if you have a valid reason, then you won't need deception. You're not going to way. There's a shadow that should be there that's not. It's that simple. Where's the shadow?
Oh, the shadow of Rossman as it darkens some of the clamshell tents at the local midnight? That shadow? Well, let me show you what you missed, Brian. Oh, maybe not just yet.
And there's also contradiction going on there as well. I may as well tell you this part. When they first got there, one of the first things that Jaron Campanella said was that they couldn't do the observation from the base camp where all the tents and all that are, because for 2 to 3 hours of the 24-hour period, the sun supposedly is blocked by Mt Rossman, right? The mountain. So it goes behind the mountain and they can't see the sun from that position. So they had to move to a different camp that is a couple of kilometers away to be able to see the sun above them, behind but above the mountain.
Yes, that is correct, Brian. And the reason why we thought doing a 24-hour video of the sun where the sun went briefly behind the mountaintop was, well, because Flurf Numpties would have had a field day with it. It was just more fun to remove that from play and make you guys cope harder.
Now, Will Duffy puts out a video only a few days ago that he made, a time-lapse video that he made when they went back from the observation camp, when they were finished there, and they went back to the base camp where all the tents are, where he made a 36-hour time-lapse of the sun, right? And at no point did the sun go behind the mountain.
Yep, that's correct. Twice you see the sun pass teasingly close to the mountaintop, but from where Will set up the camera, that was just far enough away so as not to be obscured by Mt Rossman.
At no point. It was above the mountain all the time. 36 hours. So the sun makes 2 passes of the mountain within his footage, right? So I thought that the reason that they had to move camp was because the sun goes behind the mountain. And here's Duffy with a 36-hour time-lapse from the very place that Jaron Campanella, and this has been common knowledge. No one has disagreed with this. No one said, oh, that's wrong information or anything. Like, it's been brought up many times. Jaron Campanella's audio clip has been played many times. No one on the opposing side, Will Duffy, anyone, they never gave any opposition to this. It was like, that was just the norm. That was supposedly a known fact.
Yup, all true. From within the camp, the sun does get obscured by Mt Rossman. Or, to say it another way, the shadow of Mt Rossman passes over the camp and some of the tents, but not where Will set up outside the camp.
And so much so that Jerome Campanella said when they went back to the base camp after they had finished their day at the observation camp, they went back and supposedly got sleep and a shower and all the rest of it. That he said that when the sun goes behind Mt Rossman for those couple of hours, it's freezing cold. When the sun is out, it's warm, but when the sun goes behind Mt Rossman, it gets really bitter cold.
Yup, all true, Brian. I hope this is going somewhere, Brian. Get to the point, mate.
So he's literally referencing the sun doing that while he's there. Yes, while he's there and Will Duffy's with him, Will Duffy is making a 36-hour time-lapse of the sun and it's not doing that from the very place, from 100 metres away, 150 metres away from where probably Jerome Campanella's tent was.
From that very place or a few hundred yards away from it, make up your mind, Brian. It can't be both, and the position does matter.
So you tell me, like, I can't say the whole thing is fake.
No one can, Brian, because it wasn't faked. But something tells me you're going to give it a red-hot go, though.
But one thing I can definitely say is there's a missing shadow.
No, there's not. The shadow passes over the tents. When did you last go to Specsavers, Brian?
And there's a lot of contradiction going on there, double speaking, and things just not making any sense.
Please state it correctly. Not making any sense to you.
You know what I mean?
Shenanigans!
Shenanigans is a fair call. Oh, sorry.
I was just calling Shenanigans.
Oh, stop squawking, Nathan. No one asked you, and it's a bit mean to call Shenanigans on poor old Brian. I thought he was your mate.
Yeah, Shenanigans. It's a fair call. That's definitely Shenanigans.
Yes, indeed it is. Shenanigans.
And you too, Elijah. Stop it.
No, I don't think it is. It almost seems manufactured so that people call Shenanigans on it, right? Because then that just makes us, that's Flat Seas, look like completely crazed numpties.
Oh, point of order, Nathan. This is what makes you look like numpties. Case in point, Brian shouting, "Where's the shadow?" at the camp, and it's right there under his nose. Your nose. You crew of absolute numpties.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it's almost like if they intentionally do a bad job, leave the green screen on, be in the wrong location, say it's midnight when it's 3 a.m., all that kind of crap, look like they're vaping, then all you're going to get is flat earthers putting up loads of gates to ignore the 24-hour sun, which is exactly what we've seen, right?
Well, you said a snootful there, didn't you, Nathan, old boy? And it's actually called, it's the pain of cog dis you are all feeling, causing you to panic and attack each other as your grift goes bye-bye. So much fun.
How many gates are we up to now? You've got to get through Vapegate and Snowgate and Stitchgate and whatever else, just so that you can...
Gate.
Yeah, Shadowgate that you're creating here.
Brian is trying to make it a thing, but it isn't. Should we play Exhibit A yet? Shall we just play out a little bit more rope before we take up the slack?
Now, it seems like the big TV screens they used to present this image in the tent they filmed this in, they didn't include the shadows. I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, I don't know what else to say, Brian.
What was that? A claim dribbled out of the corner of your mouth? We wait for you to make good on that unsubstantiated claim, Nathan.
Being facetious,
One thing is, as well as that, how do you know that when you're looking at that mountain from where they were that you're looking south?
How do you know? Well, Brian, first thing you do is don't ask Anthony Riley. We know he doesn't have a clue. Second, it's as easy as use any GPS to find the direction you move such that the latitude becomes more negative and the longitude remains unchanged. Simple, hey? But what's better is it does matter. The sun is not setting any way that you look at it. I'm very confident about that, Brian. 10 cameras, 9 people, do not lie.
Where are you getting all your confidence from? So I kind of like, maybe it's a sick thing with me and maybe it'll be my downfall, but I just want to destroy the TFE. Not because I need to do it, because I know the Earth is flat. I've known it for 10 years. I have all the evidence of that. There's no problem there. I just want them to feel bad.
So you were not motivated by the desire for scientific inquiry, hey, Brian? For you, this is personal, isn't it?
I don't know if we have a 24-hour Antarctic sun. I've never seen any evidence that supports it, but that's the claim, right?
I guess after making videos saying that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica years ago, you are finding the fact that there is a 24-hour sun just a little hard to swallow.
24-hour Antarctic sun. What a joke.
Rest assured, you are swinging wildly at us and not landing a single blow on any of us.
90 degrees south, as you can see. 90 degrees south. Not that it really matters, but it's interesting. It's funny.
Take this Shadowgate. It's a total farce. I call Shenanigans Brian on you as you are totally wrong. There is a shadow. Guys, should I show him yet? Nah, let's wait and see what else Brian has to say that he can regret that too. Let's have a quick listen to Brian's actual video.
And I have it looking straight because the drone is looking straight. The drone is horizontal and the pitch of the camera is horizontal. So how the hell, right? How the hell is the camera looking horizontal and seeing this point up here? Because the camera would have to be pitching up this way, and at that point it wouldn't be able to see it. Because whatever's up there is not high enough, they're not going to be able to see the tents. But the camera is pointed this way and it can see the tents. Right? There's no if buts, or maybe it can see the tents. The only thing that's stopping the camera seeing the tents, right? The only thing that's stopping it is the angular size. Right? So the difference, right, that's the only thing. So at the distance between those 2 points is, between those 2 points, the two camps, is 8,267.72 feet. And a tent at the size of 4 foot has an angular size of 0.02772 degrees. That would be about correct. Now, I know it's not with the human eyes, it's with the drone, but that would be correct that at that distance, a 4 foot high tent would start, in your horizontal view, right, is going to start going into your, going to reach the angular resolution limit of the eye, right, eventually, right. At that distance, it would be starting to do that, which is exactly what we're seeing. Now, we all know the perspective, right, we don't need to actually go past that point, but we will, right, because this is more about the tomfoolery and the shenanigans of the TFE, right. So this is be correct. It's matching the angular size, right, and the angular resolution.
Angular size, Brian? Really? Don't be daft. You can see the tents when the drone is at 20 or 30 feet and hovering, and you can't see the tents from the ground. Now, the drone is only moving vertical, and the angular size is not changing in any significant amount, and yet you say visibility is changing. So scientifically, the independent variable, that is, the angular size, is causing the DV, the visibility of the tent. Yeah, not so much. That is totally discredited, Brian. Unrelated. Okay, tell you what, have a look at Dave McKeegan's video of the Otter plane landing on the skiway that is between the halfway house and the main camp. Now, the plane is moving across the field of view and it's moving down towards the ground to land. So the angular size is relatively constant, and yet it disappears, bottom up. How is that, Brian? Where's the plane, Brian? Behind one of Petey's undulations, hey? If the 15-foot high tailplane of that plane is hidden, don't you think a 4-foot high tent is going to be hidden? How about a zero-height shadow upon the surface of the ice? Hidden or not, Brian?
My issue is this, that those coordinates that we're given, right, these are supposedly the correct coordinates. These are from Will Duffy. He got these from Dave McKeegan. Now, Dave McKeegan would have to get them from someone else, right, or unless he just made them up, right. Now, I'm not accusing him of doing that, right. I would accuse Will Duffy of making stuff up, but I wouldn't accuse Dave McKeegan as fast of making something up, right? But there are the coordinates you gave me. You saw me showing this. How can there be, right, a 35-meter difference in elevation between this point and this point, and we're still seeing the camp horizontally at a height of 10, 15 feet? Something is rotten in Denmark, as they say, right? There's no way that these two coordinates can be correct and the elevations between them be correct, and we're looking at that on that footage. That's just not possible.
Well, Brian, something is rotten, and I'm calling Shenanigans on you again. The fault is yours. Now, here are various GPS coordinates from various sources. the signpost of the camp, the geotags of various photos, and from the drone. They all agree, and the distance between the two camps is just over 8,000 feet or 2.47 kilometers. So where are you getting that 35-meter elevation change from, Brian? Looking at Will's photos, it's the same GPS unit and it's reporting elevations that are not very different. I hope you're not just getting the elevations from the Google profile line. Surely not.
Something very small. I just want to add in, this is the 36-hour time lapse. Just want to add in this, a little bit of this, into the video. Look, where's the shadow?
Where's the shadow, Brian? Right there. When the sun is south of Rossman, the shadow is cast to the north and over some of the tents on the camp.
Where is the shadow? I mean, I do think that the coordinates are wrong and these tents are much closer to the base of that mountain.
So the coordinates are right, you just need to go to Specsavers, Brian.
Where is the shadow?
Here's the shadow, Brian. Let me point to it for you. See that tent at the end on the right? It's in shadow.
Where's the shadow? At this point, there should be a shadow of the mountain hitting those tents, crossing over those tents. Where is it?
So close, Brian, but you don't have a clue, do you? So how are you going to destroy TFE when you pick hills like this to die on? So what I did do that you didn't do is get a better look. I asked Dave McKeegan to zoom in and render the 360 video, but this time locked onto the tent and not the sun. And look what I saw. Now let's shuffle back and forth a bit, hey? So just so you know, Brian, how hopelessly wrong you are, let's zoom in some more and shuffle again. Now, I had to show you the first version with the sun, otherwise you would not believe me that the sun is high and to the right and obscured by Mt Rossman. So now I want you to take this zoomed video back to FED and show them how you were terribly wrong. I left the link to the videos in the description for you, Brian, so please take these videos and the Otter plane landing and disappearing and tell Nathan, here's the shadow, Nathan. Go on, Brian, I dare you. We know you won't.
There's a shadow that's not shown in any part of the time-lapse footage within any of the TFE stuff. There's particular shadow from the mountain that's not shown.
Where is the shadow? Look, where's the shadow?
I mean, I'm okay if there's a good reason why you can't see the shadow.
Let me see what I said here. I said, wow, this is so dumb. To think this is deceptive by any means is pathetic. I can't imagine why anybody would watch you, Oakley Flatzoid, or any of you fools. This may be the first time I actually learned something from you. But remember that we were at halfway camp the night of the 14th, so I was told to go that it goes behind the mountain. So that's what I believed and said. So then the night of the 15th, we get back very late, midnight maybe, and I went straight to bed, spending our first night in the tent. It was cold and we hadn't slept. So I was in my tent during the entire time that during the entire time I assumed that the sun was blocked. It was windy, very cold, so perhaps it never did go behind Mt Rossman, but it was very close. The sun reaches its peak, it looks like, on the 356th day of the year, so that is a bit of a limbo time. Way to go, Inspector Jacques Cousteau. You just got to the bottom of this one, and oh, what do you know? It's a revelation that you brought forward. Well, I'm kidding. There's no revelation here. Just more worthless garbage from this camp. So, you know, Brian, you are the very cool dirtball of the week. You know, look at this. Even your eyes and teeth are brown. You're the best around. You are the dirtball of the week because you just keep, and this is not the first video done on this shadow thing. It's like he keeps doing these videos over and over and over again, like he's uncovered something. What he's uncovered is that the people who live in Utah, who give directions about the camp down there, aren't sure about what days exactly the sun goes behind that mountain because usually it wouldn't fucking matter.